The film begins in 1961 with one of Sweden's deadliest mining disasters in Dalarna province. During the night, an earthquake shakes a village, forming a huge crater above the mine. Fast forward to May 2020. The city of Kiruna experiences the largest rock burst in Swedish history, causing the ground to crack and forcing the old town to relocate 3 kilometers away. Kiruna is home to the world's largest underground mine, generating over 100 unpredictable tremors every year. In New Kiruna, a group of teenagers gathers near the mine to drink and party. One boy crosses the fence to relieve himself, ignoring his friend's warnings that the area is off-limits. Standing near a deep fault line, he panics when the ground shudders. Soon, 2 friends follow to check on him. They peer into the crevice and nearly fall when startled by the boy, who they angrily push aside after realizing he was playing a prank. As they notice insects fleeing from the crack, the boy prepares to leave, but another tremor hits and the 2 friends vanish. He kneels to inspect the crack and is swallowed by it when another quake strikes. Meanwhile, in the city, Tage has prepared a birthday cake for his son, Simon, who hasn't returned after going out with friends the night before and is unreachable by phone. At the same time, Frigga, the mine's head of safety, performs a routine equipment check when she is notified of a minor quake. She reassures herself that small tremors are normal given the mountain's instability. Taking a break, Frigga watches an old family video, recalling when she and Tage were married and Simon had a joyful birthday. Though Simon was angry with her in his last text, she still sends a birthday message. Assuming he is at Tage's, Frigga then picks up her boyfriend, De Bear, at the train station. During the drive, they discuss the unstable mountain and the gradual evacuation of towns nearby, a consequence of long-term mining damage. Suddenly, protesters block the road, demanding the mining stop to prevent more displacement. De Beer tries to drive through, almost hitting Micah, who is lying in the street. Frigga intervenes, revealing that Micah is her daughter. They argue about priorities, with Micah insisting people's safety matters more than her mother's career. A neighbor interrupts, trying to ease the tension. Concerned about losing her home, back home, Frigga notices that Micah has placed gum over a picture of Tage, as Frigga and De Bear attempt intimacy. A minor quake interrupts them. Frigga checks her phone, confirming the tremors are minor. Later, De Bear spots cracks forming on the ceiling, while Frigga hears the neighbor's dogs barking frantically, behaving unusually. Tage arrives, explaining he cannot locate Simon. The situation grows tense when he sees De Bear, prompting Frigga to make introductions. Micah shows up with her girlfriend, Isa, complaining that De Bear's presence ruins the family birthday celebration. They assume Simon returned home unnoticed, taking the cake to his room only to find him gone along with his video game console. Frigga then receives a call from the mother of Simon's best friend, who is also missing. Suddenly, a stronger earthquake shakes the house, cracking walls. Frigga and Tage notice the tremors worsening and are contacted by the mine, reporting a cave-in. Frigga instructs Micah to find her brother as they rush to assist. On the way, they notice animals fleeing the mountain. At the mine, over 1,000 people have been evacuated, though 112 remain trapped between levels 520 and 750. The evacuation team confirms everyone except the last 22 has been rescued. Frigga begins coordinating efforts while De Bear leaves, and Tage remarks that Frigga prioritizes her job above all, warning De Bear not to expect much. Frigga, Tage, and Erica proceed into the main mine tunnel, pausing to pay respects to a commemorative plaque for Freyja's late father. Reaching 520 meters underground, they continue on foot with a drone helping track the debris from the cave-in. While Frigga taps the walls, loose rocks collapse, shocking the women but causing only minor injuries. Sending the drone through a newly discovered hollow, they realize the void stretches almost 2 kilometers and is expanding toward the town. Frigga orders an evacuation despite Taga's objections. As rumbling intensifies, they barely escape into a rescue chamber as the tunnel begins to collapse. Meanwhile, Mika searches for Simon, learning about a party he attended. She calls him with no answer and notices swarming insects throughout town. Back at home, Isa and her siblings witness bugs fleeing as a hole opens in the sandbox, trapping a child and swallowing his tricycle. Isa rescues her brother while chaos spreads. At the fire station, DeBear feels the quake and observes the rising number of emergencies: broken pipes, runaway dogs, insect infestations, and trapped vehicles. His boss warns him that living in Kiruna is dangerous and mentions Frigga and Taga's complicated history. Micah discovers Simon's best friend asleep in her car, surrounded by empty bottles. He refuses to unlock it, so she smashes the window. Isa intervenes, and in the commotion, the boy escapes. Micah chases him across the street, narrowly avoiding DeBear's car. She tackles him, and DeBear intervenes to prevent the situation from escalating. The boy clarifies that he did not steal Mika's car. Simon had been using Mika's car to sleep off the effects of drinking too much. He explains where the party took place and mentions that everyone else mysteriously vanished. Micah then asks DeBear for his car, and when he pulls the keys from his pocket, he accidentally drops a small box containing an engagement ring. Micah, aware of her mother's unsigned divorce papers, comments that Frigga only keeps them to irritate Taga. The two of them head toward the party site near the mine. Following the sound of a ringing phone, they climb over the fence and discover a massive crack in the earth. Looking closer, they see the phone perched on a rock, revealing the fate of the missing partygoers. Another phone lies on the ground, so Micah tries calling Simon, but there's no response. DeBear calls his fire station supervisor to report what they've found: underground in the mine's rescue chamber. The team dons oxygen masks. Realizing they can't wait for formal rescue, they must warn the town. Once the tremors subside, they leave the chamber but find fallen rocks blocking their path. Erica recalls the old rescue ladders unused for 20 years, but they have no other choice. Searching for another exit, they find a dangerous hole among the rubble. Frigga crawls through first, pausing when she hears rocks shifting, and reaches the other side. Taga tries to follow, but panics due to claustrophobia. Frigga calms him by singing a family song, and he tries again, but gets stuck mid-tunnel. Frigga rescues him just before he loses consciousness. The drone operator crosses safely, but when Erica tries, a rock pins her leg. Frigga helps her just before the hole collapses. The group finally locates the stairs and escapes. Frigga calls Micah, who warns of a massive crack in town. Frigga urges evacuation, but Micah hesitates over Isa and heads back. DeBear tries to stop her as streetlights fall nearby. Frigga contacts the mine to activate the warning system. Sirens blare, residents receive evacuation texts, and streets jam with fleeing townspeople, while searching for Micah. Taga tells Frigga he'll step back to let her start a new life with DeBear. Frigga spots a teen she believes is Simon, and Taga drives onto the sidewalk to pursue him, eventually forcing them to continue on foot. Micah finds Isa and urges her to escape. DeBear helps an elderly woman while cracks spread through the city. Micah gets in the car with Isa and her grandmother, but a tire gets stuck in a fissure. The town shakes violently, windows shatter, and cracks swallow vehicles. Frigga and Taga urge the crowd to flee, and DeBear frees the elderly woman. The car begins sinking, but DeBear jumps aboard to rescue Isa suddenly. The mountain collapses, triggering a massive landslide toward the town. DeBear cuts the seatbelt, and he and Micah escape through the windows. The family reunites, helping stranded residents. Isa pushes a baby in a stroller, while Frigga worries about a teenager run over by a car. The landslide destroys buildings and kills those too slow to escape. Micah panics seeing Isa fall into a hole, Frigga and Taga check on the injured teenager. Relieved it's not Simon, rescue teams arrive, and the hospital fills with survivors. Frigga searches for Simon but learns he's at school having a video game party. Explaining the missing console, De Beer prays, joined by Taga in gratitude for Simon's safety. Taga grabs the engagement ring from De Beer in a scuffle, which Frigga stops. The family leaves the hospital, shocked by the massive crater from the mountain collapse. At school, they navigate debris-filled corridors, and Micah finds a classmate's body, devastated. They hear Simon's voice in a corridor. De Beer moves ahead, but the passage is blocked. He stops Micah from crawling through vents, so Frigga climbs while Taga secures a cable. Falling debris interrupts their brief reconciliation, forcing them to find another route. Frigga dives into a small hole, separating from the others. She finds several dead teens and locates Simon trapped in a sinkhole while a girl is impaled on a metal rod. Part of the ground collapses nearby, missing Simon. The family clears debris, and Taga returns the engagement ring to De Beer. Frigga tosses a cable to the girl, but it destabilizes the ground and kills her. De Beer ties a hose around Frigga to lower her into the sinkhole. As she swings, the floor breaks, impaling her leg on a metal rod. De Beer warns her not to remove it. Simon talks her through the pain, and they reconcile. A large piece of furniture falls, but hangs by a cable. Simon stabilizes Frigga by jumping on it. Micah improvises a harness from her belt so the siblings can lift Frigga off the rod. Frigga passes out but is safely pulled out. Simon is rescued next. The sinkhole's edge crumbles, forcing Micah and Frigga onto the hanging furniture. Taga holds the cables but is electrocuted as sparks appear, and he collapses. The furniture plunges after De Beer pulls Frigga free. Simon and De Beer attempt CPR, but Taga dies. Rescue teams arrive to tend the survivors. Outside, paramedics care for everyone, and De Beer shares a meaningful glance with Frigga, still holding the engagement ring.